there, and welcome back to Weird Soda for Life. This is Pear Elderflower, Gingery Ale in a can, sour blueberry for hours. I drink things from a can. And I did rhyme can with can. You know what? They ain't all gems, but here we are. Anyway, welcome back. We are on week 3 of our United Sodas of America. I'm not quite sure where we would be if we were on a road trip throughout America, but uh, well, again, not a lot to say about this. We've done all the talking about the history of the company and blah 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 blah. I did though start thinking about as I was looking at the flavors for this week. Why all of a sudden are people putting like flowers and herbs into soda? Like it makes me feel like we are just like missing out on something. Maybe this is like a potion and like I'm gonna have badass HP and mana when I'm all done with this. But in the meantime, why am I drinking flowers? um, for you. I'm doing it for you. Um, and I did actually look up elderflower because I was like, I don't know if I've even ever heard of this. So I looked it up because I was like, tell me more, internet. And I discovered it's supposed to taste woodsy and floral. So I'm a little bit worried this is going to turn it into me like drinking a tree, but hey, we'll find out together, I guess. With that, I'm going to pause and I'm going to go get glasses for the cause. And I will be back in a flash. And we're back. Um, all right, so let's get started with our sodas this week. Again, I am going to try the pear elderflower first. I really do like the color of this can. It's like a nice chartreuse. Um, it makes me feel very fancy. And also, the pear elderflower sounds very fancy as well. It actually sounds like a elf I played in a D&D campaign once. um, but with that, let's see what we're getting ourselves into. Also, the cans are a little bit more slippery, let's say. Uh, for those of you who may not be aware, we are going through. Boy, I'm having an issue getting the can open. Hold on. We're going through a heat wave here, and so like again, I try to normally drink my sodas cold anyway, but uh, because of that, the condensation on this is out of this world. Okay. Hmm. Uh, okay. Before I try to get into the sniff test, I just want to express my slight disappointment in the color of the soda. Um, as we've seen the whole time, it's mostly been the soda is the color of what's in the can. And like, while I acknowledge that this is a normal pear color, it actually looks a little bit like Magners, which is a pear Irish pear cider. Um, so I acknowledge that this is normal, but I guess I'm a little bummed that it's not like light green, since so many of the other sodas we've had have matched the color of the can. That's not a ding against it flavor wise, but aesthetically, a boo. Let's see. Okay, I can't really smell anything on this. I thought maybe pouring it in the glass would make it breathe a little more. Um, okay, hold on. Okay, I guess I smell a little bit. It does smell a little bit like a pear candy I had once. But with that, bottoms up. Okay, that's not bad. It's actually quite crisp. Um, on my tongue, it's more sweet than I expected it to be. There's definitely hints of flour in there. It does leave a little bit of a floral aftertaste in my mouth. Uh, uh, I was gonna make a joke about making out with me is like making out with a garden, but that seemed a little silly and a bit of a stretch. Um, but yeah, that's crisp. It's sweet but not too sweet, and it does taste a lot like eating Bartlett pear with some flowers. So Hey, good job. I liked this. With that, we're on to the next one. Gingery ale. Again, is ginger ale like copyrighted? I don't know. Um, but since it's gingery, gingera, gingery, gingera. And if you are over like 40, maybe you'll get that. But this one I'm not actually expecting to be deep green. I'm expecting it to be a richer brown, kind of like, well, most ginger ales. But let's see what we get ourselves into. Oh, actually, I don't know if you can really tell, and I realize there's less pear in here than there, just for aesthetic's sake, so you guys can see this. The gingery ale, maybe you can't see it in the camera. The gingery ale is actually a lighter color than the pear, and that's unexpected to me. Like this is like a pale, watery yellow, whereas this is more of a brownish but still light. This reminds me of like sparkling white wine, and this reminds me of champagne. I guess if we're looking for colors, but anyway. Okay. Getting close to it, I do smell the ginger. It smells like, well, like ginger, frankly, and not necessarily ginger ale, like a ginger. Um, so let's see what we get up to. I thought it would burn more, which is a weird thing to say about a soda. But once I got it up close, I could smell the ginger part, right? And that's different from ginger ale, which is a distinctly kind of different flavor. But yeah, uh, I I don't know what I thought was gonna that was gonna taste like. It's got a little bit of the dryness. So if I was gonna equate it to a ginger ale, I'd equate it more to a Canada Dry than I would um, a Seagram's or I was gonna say Verner's, but again, I know Verner's calls itself a ginger ale, but I really think it's more of a ginger soda, and we've gone all over this already. But um, it is less sweet than the pear elderflower. I like the ginger. I just wish there was more of it. I wish they had gone more bold. If you're calling something gingery, I need it to be gingery and not just like, oops, the shavings from the ginger fell into this bland soda. Um, and again, kind of like some of the other flavors that we had earlier, the base on the ginger ale is a little bit watery. So I guess the more I talk about it, the more I'm like, I'm not exactly thrilled with it. It wasn't terrible. It was just boring. And that's sometimes for me the most cardinal sin is it's boring. Um, but with that, let's move on to the third one. I will say as a caveat, I am not actually a huge blueberry fan. I'm a huge sour drinks fan, as y'all know, but I'm not a huge blueberry fan. So I'm not quite sure what's going to win out here today. I am going to keep an open mind because just because I don't like something doesn't mean I can't say that it's not accurate to the flavor or whatever it is it's trying to embody. In fact, it's probably a benefit of it that it tastes, if I don't like it because it tastes like blueberry, right? But with that, let's see what we're getting ourselves into. I will say I love the blue on this can. I think this is pretty. Um, again, the simplistic design of, well, the cans, uh, I think is a really wonderful style choice, and especially with just the strong color palettes that they've had across. Um, but with that, let's see what we've gotten ourselves into. Boy, I'm 0 for 3 tonight. Okay. Okay, unlike the first two, I can actually smell the blueberry in this. Um, so I'm here for that. Like, I'm glad to have something that has a really distinct, strong smell. So, yeah, I like the smell a lot. It smells like a sour candy. Uh, yeah, it smells definitely like a kind of like a sour warhead. So, all right, here we go. See, it's like they knew. You can't tell really from here, but look, it's blue, guys. It's blue. I'm so stoked about this. Even if this tastes bad, the fact that they made one that tastes blue, I was disappointed that neither one of these were green. So, huzzah! It's kind of like a periwinkle. So I'm here for that. Okay. Oh, I like that. I like that quite a bit. Yes, the blueberry is there, but it kind of almost tastes like blue raspberry, which y'all know I'm a fan of. But yeah, I would equate this more to a sour blue raspberry than I would a blueberry. And maybe the blueberry is just a blue raspberry, but I doubt that because I do taste the blueberry. But with the sour that they put with it, it really plays well. And again, my mouth is now kind of flooding. Um, it is not nearly as sour, of course, as the sodas that are we've had on the channel before that are like meant to be sour. I do wonder if this has any sort of citric acid in it. It does. Um, but I like that. That was great. I mean, I guess looking at all these, oops. See, you guys can see how humid it is. Things are like sticking to each other rather quickly. But like, yeah, looking at these, it's like I think this one is the winner. Um, and the other two can kind of, I don't know, they're all right. So how surprising that the one I was most concerned about ended up being the best one for me. Um, so, but again, other than like the first-ish week where it took a minute to get going, honestly, these sodas haven't been that bad. That sounds like they've been better than I expected them to be based on the fact that it felt like they were sort of a internet gimmick flash in the pan sort of thing. I've really enjoyed this so far. So I am genuinely looking forward and a little sad about next week because next week is the end of our United Sodas of America trip. We are, unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. There's only 12. But next week we are trying a toasted coconut, a white grape, and blackberry jam. And I'm looking forward to all three. I think they're going to be an interesting color palette. Or not color palette, taste palette? Maybe color palette. I don't know. Uh, until next time, drink weird and um, go out there and let things surprise you because sour blueberry did for me. Uh, See you next time.